Humanity's wildest dreams have often led to jaw-dropping projects that seem to defy reality. Projects so ambitious, they might just be impossible. From floating cities and transcontinental tunnels to space elevators and even undersea metropolises. Here's a look at some of the most outrageous and downright ridiculous engineering ideas ever proposed. Number 5. The Tokyo Bay Floating City. The concept of a floating city wasn't just a leap of imagination, but a response to Tokyo's desperate need for more space to house its rapidly growing population and industry. Inspired by futuristic visions of sustainable modular cities, Japan's planners looked at Tokyo Bay, a vast open stretch of water right by the city, and thought, why not build out there? The Tokyo Bay Floating City would cover about 10 square miles and was envisioned as a self-sustaining ecosystem, complete with residential neighborhoods, business districts, green parks, and even entertainment venues. Schools, solar panels, wind turbines, and desalination plants, shopping centers, hospitals, and even train lines were to be built on this floating base. The idea was that it could be a complete autonomous city designed to withstand earthquakes, typhoons, and whatever else the ocean could throw at it. However, like many audacious megaprojects, reality set in. The cost was astronomical, with estimates spiraling into the tens of billions of dollars. There were massive questions about logistics, safety, and maintenance, so the project never saw the light of day. Number 4. The Red Sea Dam. The idea was to construct a 30-kilometer dam at the southern tip of the Red Sea, near the Bab-el-Mandeb Strait, effectively turning the Red Sea into an enormous, contained saltwater lake. The project's supposed benefits were as ambitious as they were surreal. To put this into perspective, a single gigawatt has the capacity to power approximately 750,000 homes. So with an output of 50 gigawatts, the Red Sea Dam could potentially provide clean, renewable energy to more than 37 million homes. Now, before we all get too carried away with visions of clean, renewable energy powering millions of homes, let's take a reality check. This isn't just a dam. It's a dam in one of the hottest, most volatile tectonic regions on the planet. To build something on this scale, engineers would have to overcome intense heat, extreme saltwater corrosion, and tectonic instability. Projections also show that it would take 50 years to drain, even a third of the Red Sea through evaporation, and nearly 300 years to reach 2/3, at which point full production could finally begin. And the price tag? We are looking at a project that would cost over $220 billion. Number 3. The Space Elevator. This is one of the most mind-blowing and futuristic megaprojects that scientists and engineers have kept alive for over a century. The concept, first envisioned in the late 19th century, would allow climbers to ascend and descend the cable, transporting cargo and people directly into space without the need for expensive and polluting rockets. This project could make space travel as simple and affordable as taking an elevator ride. But you see, the space elevator concept became the ultimate example of simple on paper, impossible in practice. The main problem was the cable itself. To build a tether strong enough to support its own weight across tens of thousands of kilometers, we would need a material with tensile strength far beyond anything we can currently produce. Carbon nanotubes and other theoretical materials have been suggested, but nothing available today comes close to the required durability and length. Then there's the sheer danger involved. Imagine if the cable were to break. It could fall back to Earth with devastating speed, keeping a 36,000-kilometer structure stable while it faces the elements. Orbital debris and the relentless pull of gravity and centripetal force is a challenge beyond comprehension. Number 2. The Transatlantic Tunnel. Just imagine the idea of being able to travel between two continents in just 1 hour. That's what this project was about. The proposed tunnel would house high-speed trains or magnetically levitating capsules, moving at thousands of kilometers per hour in a vacuum tube to eliminate air resistance. This would allow near-silent and minimal friction travel, potentially revolutionizing travel, business, and logistics beyond what modern jets can achieve. However, challenges include intense water pressure, shifting tectonic plates, and undersea currents. And building a tunnel that could withstand these forces and remain stable for decades would require engineering feats we can barely imagine. One proposed design was floating the tunnel within the ocean, anchored by cables to the seafloor. This floating tunnel approach would keep it off the sea to avoid geological risks, but brings a whole host of other problems. Corrosion from saltwater, damage from storms, maintenance issues, and the ever-present risk of collision with submarines or ships. And then there's the cost. The transatlantic tunnel would cost over $12 trillion to build. That's almost twice the entire GDP of Japan. Number 1. The Freedom Ship. Imagine a massive 1.8-kilometer long ship, over 4 times the length of the largest cruise ships, housing 50,000 permanent residents with room for 30,000 more visitors, crew, and hotel guests. That's the Freedom Ship. This ship was proposed to have everything you find in a full-fledged city: schools, hospitals, parks, retail spaces, and even an airport on the roof for small jets and helicopters. Designed to operate as a self-sustaining ecosystem, it would have businesses, entertainment venues, and all the essentials to support a floating society. It would be more than a ship. It would be a floating tax haven, a country of its own, independent from any government. So what made this project wildly impractical? First, the size. A ship this big would displace over 2.7 million tons of water, meaning its hull would need to be more like a floating barge than any existing ship. Engineers also estimated it would require over $10 billion to build. And then there's the ocean itself. The Freedom Ship would be constantly moving through international waters and coastal zones, facing everything from rough seas and hurricanes to corrosive saltwater and environmental regulations. Steering a 1.8-kilometer-long ship through these conditions would be a navigational nightmare. Just imagine if a fire broke out, evacuating up to 80,000 people would be almost impossible. So which of these mega projects do you find ridiculous? Let's know in the comments.